What made you completely change your opinion about someone after they died? My dad was a hoarder. Our house was filled with junk, old newspapers, broken electronics, random trinkets from garage sales, basement packed floor to ceiling, garage unusable, hallways lined with boxes of stuff nobody needed. I was embarrassed to bring friends over. When they'd ask why we couldn't hang out at my place, I'd make excuses about construction or sick relatives. Every weekend, he'd drag me to estate sales and thrift stores, sometimes 3 or 4 different sales in one day. He'd wake me up at 6 a.m. Saturday morning with coffee and a printed list of addresses from Craigslist. One man's trash is another man's treasure, he'd say, loading up our cart with more useless stuff. Chipped coffee mugs, outdated electronics, clothes that didn't fit anyone in our family. I'd follow him around these sales, watching him get excited over the most random things. A broken picture frame, a set of mixing bowls with one missing, a toolbox with rusted screwdrivers. The owners would practically pay him to take stuff away. My friends' dads were teaching them to throw footballs or change oil. Mine was teaching me to dig through dead people's belongings. Other kids got taken to baseball games or amusement parks. I got taken to cramped houses where grieving families were selling everything their grandparents ever owned for $5 a box. I'd sit in the car waiting while Dad spent hours talking to these people, loading up our trunk with their memories. When I turned 18, I moved out and rarely visited. Couldn't stand the smell, the clutter, the way he got excited over finding some rusty old tool for 50 cents. My college friends would ask about my family and I'd change the subject. How do you explain that your dad's hobby is collecting other people's trash? My mom left when I was 12, said she couldn't live in a museum anymore. Couldn't breathe through all the stuff. I understood why. Walking through our house meant navigating narrow pathways between towers of boxes. Sitting down meant moving piles of things first. Dad never seemed bothered by being alone in that maze. He'd spend evenings organizing his finds, putting price tags on items for his own garage sales that never happened. When I'd call on holidays, I could hear him moving around boxes in the background, always sorting, always arranging, never throwing away. He died of a heart attack at 63, alone in that messy house. The neighbor found him 3 days later when mail started piling up. The paramedics had trouble getting the stretcher through all his stuff. It took me 3 weeks to work up the courage to start cleaning. Kept putting it off, dreading the enormity of it. Rented a massive dumpster, bought industrial trash bags, took a week off work. My plan was simple: throw everything away and sell the house empty. That's when I started actually looking at his junk, instead of just bagging it blindly. Every single item had a tiny piece of masking tape stuck to it. Each tape had a date written in Dad's careful handwriting and a set of initials. At first I thought it was some weird cataloging system, but the dates went back decades and the initials didn't match anyone in our family. Confused, I started Googling the initials with the dates. March 15th, 2019, SM. Found the obituary immediately. Sarah Martinez, 34, single mother of 3, died in a car crash. Survived by children ages 8, 10, and 12. My hands were shaking as I searched the next one. July 3rd, 2020, JW. James Wilson, 58, Army veteran, homeless. Found dead behind Walmart. No known relatives. December 12th, 2021, LR. Lisa Roberts, 16, suicide. Parents requesting donations to mental health charity in lieu of flowers. Every single item in our house told the same story. For 20 years, my dad had been reading obituaries in the newspaper every morning. Not the famous people or the wealthy families with big funeral announcements. The small ones, the sad ones, the people who died with nothing. He'd find out when their families were having estate sales. Families who couldn't afford proper funerals, selling everything their loved one owned to pay for burial costs. He wasn't hoarding junk. He was buying their memories so they wouldn't end up in landfills.